Fear is a very strange emotion. Most of the time, we try to avoid it, but when it comes to horror movies, we willingly sit down and experience it. And the feeling you get from watching a horror movie is very different from other genres. The idea that there might be something out there, something beyond logic and science, has always fascinated me. Now, I'm not a huge movie watcher in general, but somehow I have watched quite a lot of horror movies over the years. So many that I honestly don't even remember most of their names anymore. But one thing I have noticed is that the type of horror that scares me the most is usually Asian horror movies. Maybe it's because I grew up in India. The environment feels strangely familiar. Temples, bells, incense, rituals. Even though the stories are fictional, something about the atmosphere feels close to home. One big difference I have noticed between Asian horror and American horror is the way they try to scare you. American horror movies often rely on jump scares, sudden sounds, sudden appearances, something jumping into the frame, and sometimes that works really well. But Asian horror movies usually take a different approach. They don't always try to shock you. Instead, they slowly make you feel uncomfortable. The fear builds quietly, and by the end, it just stays with you. If I had to recommend one movie from that side, there's a film on Netflix called Incantation. That's a really good example of the kind of horror that slowly gets under your skin. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy American horror. I like that equally. Movies like Wind Chill, The Lodge, and Frozen are some of the ones I really enjoyed. Of course, people might say, what about classics like The Exorcist or The Ring? And yes, those are great too, but I think everyone has a specific type of horror that works for them. For me, I want to feel genuinely scared, but not just because of ghosts suddenly appearing on screen. The fear has to come from the atmosphere. Movies with zombies in them never really worked for me. They're entertaining, sure, but they rarely scare me. I'm not sure why, maybe because the horror feels more physical than psychological. For me, the setting of the story matters a lot. Sometimes the place itself becomes part of the horror. One setting I really love in horror movies is snowy winters. A group of characters stranded somewhere cold, isolated, trying to survive, or sometimes not surviving. That kind of atmosphere just makes everything feel more intense. And I think that's what makes horror movies so interesting. They don't just try to scare you, they create a world where for a moment you start questioning what feels possible, and maybe that's why we keep watching them. Because deep down, there's always a small part of us that wonders, what if the movie wasn't entirely fiction?